Hey guys, Whitey Apps here. First YouTube video. Very excited for this. I feel like every Gen Z grows up thinking they want to have a YouTube channel, so I'm very excited that I'm able to finally do it. I don't know if that's just a culture or what, but anyway. So you clicked on this video probably to understand and to figure out what the main point of this channel is and to get to know me a little bit, so I'll go ahead and explain that. So first of all, I'm Gen Z. I'm a middle Gen Z, so I was born in 2004. So I was in high school over COVID. And because of that, and because of a lot of the things that I was told about my heritage and how I should feel about my heritage, and then learning that, no, actually, I'm not upset or saddened by my heritage. That's really shaped a lot of the way that I see things and how I interpret things that I'm told. And I think that a lot of the middle Gen Z can really kind of resonate with that. I felt like a lot of people around my age get what I mean when I talk about things like that, and that they understand that there's a lot of things going on, socially, politically, and just in general. Life is kind of tough, to be honest. Like for Gen Z, most people just go along with it and they don't really question it too much. And I did that for a while too. Over time, however, I started to question a lot more things. Nothing crazy, just small things at first, things that didn't really seem to make sense to me or just felt off when I actually thought about them for more than 2 seconds and more than just a quick Google search. Back before Google had the AI summary as well, you had to go and actually read articles to get the answers. And now I'm at a stage where I just feel like trying to understand things better. One of my goals with the channel is to just learn and to pass that information on. I was really into reading when I was young, in elementary and middle school, and then I just kind of fell out of it in high school. um, so I want to pick that back up again. I've got several books that I'm going to be reading, and hopefully I can give some reviews on them or whatever. We'll just see where it goes. To learn things from other people too, really understand how the economy works, how gold and assets and stuff like that work. What are some things to pay attention to, some things that are, just kind of media propaganda. Just really learning, how to see the world, how to interpret the world, stuff like that. And that's essentially what this is for, what this channel is for, is for me to share the information that I find fascinating, give my take on it, um, talk about the stuff, and just kind of give a Gen Z political understanding about it. I'm not super political. I don't want to try and get into politics, so I'm not going to be as political as some of these other channels. I feel like everybody's talking about politics right now, and I don't know how much I really have to contribute to that conversation. I'm more interested in history. I really like history, current events, and just understanding kind of what that means in the long run. I'm also doing this channel to get better at speaking. I've had a hard time with my voice my whole life. I've hated hearing my voice on recordings and audio, so this is kind of a exposure therapy or something like that, to kind of get into this. And I may say some things that people disagree with, and if I do, I'm willing to hear other arguments. You know what I mean? I That's one of the things that I really kind of take pride in, is I want to hear the best arguments from all sides and not just what benefits me. I could go and listen to certain people all day and just never, expose myself to opposing viewpoints. That's kind of what this is for as well. Just kind of I don't know, video journal documentary. Not, no, that's stupid, but like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to edit these a whole lot. And so just kind of thinking out loud now, just kind of getting more in touch to how the world works with this channel. Don't expect it to be polished. Don't expect it to be edited super hardcore. I am not a professional. I'm in school right now. I've got a life outside of the internet, which I think a lot of people actually don't have, which is why the world is so messed up sometimes with our generation. And that's kind of the idea of the channel, is pushing back against some of the things that I'm learning, to push back against some of the political things happening, give some Gen Z commentary, just kind of get more involved. Gives me a reason to research some of these things and to be productive and to just kind of do that. while I'm working and going to school. So I've got some videos lined up that I think are going to be really interesting. Some things like college and kind of what the modern dating scene looks like. I am married, so I was married pretty young. So I think that that's another thing that I could give some video advice on is, what does marriage actually look like? Gen Z perspective type stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Kind of rambling here at the end. I hope to get better about that. And if this all sounds interesting, I hope that you stick along, like and subscribe. My next videos will be a lot more organized. This is just I never know what to say when people say, tell me about yourself. So that's just kind of who I am. I consider myself a dissident right Gen Z American patriot who is just trying to do his best for God and his country. I don't believe that America should be subject to any nation across the ocean. That was what the entire Revolutionary War was for. So to see it happening now again saddens me, and I am optimistic about the up and coming generations. But that's a whole nother discussion for another time. So if you like this, like, subscribe, share it to someone who you think might enjoy it. I hope to see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.